You know what? Stop dressing like that. Stop looking like that. Stop seeking attention from someone else. And her adultery from between her breasts. What? The Bible said breasts. The idea here is that Israel or Gomer is walking around with some type of, maybe it's a medallion, maybe, like people wear a cross, or whatever it is, something, jewelry that signifies allegiance to someone else. Or it could be a tattoo. Now, let me make sure everyone knows, because obviously you've noticed I have a tattoo or two. Maybe three. But one of the problems is people will go, tattoos are wrong, tattoos are bad, blah, 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 blah. Back in Leviticus they said, what? No markings or graven images. This is what Hosea here is referring to when he says adultery. If you're going to get a tattoo, and by all means there is nothing wrong scripturally with getting one, what are you getting though is the scripturally wrong part. Are you putting something else on your body that's making that an idol? Are you putting something else on your body that represents something that you find, that you're attracted to, that you love, in place of God? That's the idea behind that in Leviticus when he's saying don't put any markings on your body. Because the goofballs there were living this life of syncretism, right? So what they would do is they would go, well, I need to be covered. I'm going to put some marking on my body about Baal so that my crops grow and that I can have children and all those other things. But at the same time, I'm going to have an ark put on my other leg, showing that I'm loyal and faithful to God. And God's saying, no. Don't do that. Children, please plead with your mother. Stop dressing, looking like a whore, seeking attention from someone other than me, and don't put anything on your body that also signifies your allegiance with someone else. And then, lest I strip her naked and make her as the day she was born. That's the wonderful thing about God, is he tells you, don't do something, absolutely do not do something, and he doesn't leave it at that. He says, or else, this is what's going to happen. And he doesn't say, don't do this, or I'll do something bad to you. He says, don't do this specific thing. Don't dress like, don't look like, don't seek attention from others. Don't mark or adorn your body with something that shows allegiance to another God but me, or else I am going to do this. Very clear. You do this, I'm going to do this. So these next couple verses are, it's broken up. It's literally like, here are the charges that are going to be brought against you. Here's the punishment that's going to be administered to you. So God literally says, I'm going to strip her naked and make her as the day she was born. What's significant about that? If I strip someone naked? Taking everything off? Generally that's a position of vulnerability. It's a position of dependence. It's a position of I have nothing. I'm completely bare. What's that?
It's like you come into the world with nothing.
Well, and that's it. He even says, just like the day you were born, when you're a baby and you're a week or two old, that's a beautiful picture of being completely and totally helpless. If someone doesn't feed you, you are going to die. If someone doesn't clothe you, you're going to be cold. If someone doesn't clean you, you're going to be dirty and filthy and all this stuff. A baby is just such a wonderful demonstration of what it means to be completely dependent, completely at the mercy of someone else, completely reliant on someone else. And God says, you don't stop, that's what I'm taking you back to. I'm going to put you in a position where you're 100% totally dependent, helpless. And then he says, and I will make her like a wilderness, and make her like a parched land, and kill her with thirst. Okay, so remember, keep switching this metaphor up. It applies both to Israel, and it applies to Gomer. I almost did it again, except I almost called it Hosea. What was one of the things that God told the people about, I'm going to give you this land, and what's this land going to be? A land of what? Milk and honey. Now some of us might think, The combination milk and honey, disgusting. I don't even know. Did you say it was good? I've never even tried it. Whoever tried it is disgusting. I don't even know why they would even mix those two things together.
See, it's good.
He says milk and honey, not tea and honey. Okay. So, what does that mean? For a land to be flowing with milk, fruitfulness, what else? Abundance. The land has to be lush. It has to be green because the animals that are going to produce milk need to graze on the grass. And if it's flowing, that means that the animals are making a great deal of milk. Well, the only way they can do that is if there's land to graze. So you're thinking of a beautiful, like lush landscape, greenery, just amazing. And then, what about honey? What's required for honey? Bees and what else? Flowers. And lots of flowers because the bees go around, pollinate, they pick some stuff, they end up taking it back to their hive, they make a little honey. Well, it's flowing. There must be many bees, which means that there has to be a lot of flowers. Just a beautiful, beautiful pasture. I mean, I don't even know, what was it called? Well, a lot bigger than a garden because it's the whole land. A valley, okay. But what does God say? He says, and I'm going to make it like a wilderness and make her land parts. Now, we normally think wilderness and we're thinking what? Jungles and stuff like that. You know what? Jungles are nice and lush. But when Scripture's talking about wilderness, when the people were wandering the wilderness, where were they? No, they're in the desert. So think dry, barren, nothing around, nothing can grow. There's no water. There's none of that. He said the land is parched. Have you guys ever, or I don't know if some of you grew up in Oklahoma-ish, I mean in the big city, but if you've grown up outside of major cities and you've driven through farm territory when there's been a drought, and you see the land and it's got those just ridiculous cracks and the whatever plants have grown, you're literally like, someone should just kill them. They look miserable, like they're just struggling. Think of when you are so thirsty and you can't even do that anymore because your mouth is so dry and you're parched. I mean, you're really parched. Now imagine land like that was fertile and lush. God's saying, I'm going to take that land and that's what I'm going to do to it. I'm going to strip it. It's going to become a wilderness. There's going to be no water and the land is going to literally die of thirst. Now, before we get into, I'm going to talk about this verse 4 right now. It says, upon her children also I will have no mercy, because they are children of whoredom. And remember what I was saying is you're a product of your parents. So you're, in a sense, you're guilty just by association. Mother was a whore, has some kids. You will always be referred to as kids of whore. Children of a whore, right? How many times have you been like, oh, that Jimmy Stevens is a bum just like his father, right? His father was no good, he's no good. Or mother was this, the daughter's just the same. No one's ever heard this? Just watch some movies from the 50s, they're full of stuff like that. Because, yeah, it's usually, yeah, it can be, because they are here. There's a son and there's a daughter, and they're all children of the mother, so. Verse 4, upon her children also I will have no mercy, because they are children of whoredom. So I said that they're, in a sense, they're guilty of just being associated with, or being associated from what the mother has done. And God is literally telling the children, whether it's the children of Gomer or the children of Israel, saying, repent of who you are. Repent of being an Israelite. Because the Israelites they became so comfortable with their position and who they would literally go, oh, we're good. We're part of Israel, so we are good. They put their hope in what? In what? Yeah. What did they put their hope in? In being who they are. They literally said, you know what, we are good. Nothing, no problems. You know why? Because I'm an Israelite. And we do that too, don't we? I'm good, nothing, no problems here. I'm a Christian, go to church, I'm part of the church. No trouble. And God is literally saying, you know what? Repent of being an Israelite. The thing that makes you who you are, repent of that. Because that's not what saves you. That's not what you put your hope in. Don't put your hope in the fact that you were born from this family, or from this certain person, or from this certain line. Repent of that. Don't trust in that, because it's not going to go very far. Not at all. And God's literally saying, you know what? The covenant, the promise, is made with me. Not made with you based on who you are. Not made because who your parents were, or who your grandfather was, or if you were a descendant of Abraham. Don't put your hope in that, because it's going to get you nowhere. For their mother has played the whore. This is verse 5. She has conceived them. She who conceived them has acted shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers, who gave me my bread and my water, my wool, my flax, my oil, and my drink. And we finally get to what's gone wrong. What is the mother guilty of? Because we've been told, don't do this, stop doing this, stop doing this. And God finally says, this is what she's done. So God kind of reverses it. He arrests the woman, so to say. Or no, let me change it. He convicts her, and then he goes, well, by the way, here are the charges against you. For her mother has played the whore. She who conceived them has acted shamefully. God is literally saying, you have taken yourself and sold yourself into prostitution. You have taken yourself and you have placed a price on yourself, and now you're just literally going forward and asking for it. And he says, what is she doing? What is she going after? What is what she has turned herself into a prostitute for?
Other gods?
Yes, other gods, but specifically, it's in verse 5. Bread, water. Bread, water, what else? Oil, wool, flax,
Drink.
and drink. Yeah, drink on. And what is bread and water? Food. And what's wool and flax? Clothes. And oil? Yeah, luxury. And drink? Yeah, booze, wine. He's literally saying, what she has done that's so wrong is she has taken herself, sold herself to get these things. And we might look at this right now and we're going to go, wow, that's extreme. That's huge. Are we any different? No. We literally sell our integrity, our values, our morals, our worth on a daily basis to acquire material stuff. We do it all the time. Anyone ever worked at a place, had a job that you knew was, let's just say, shady? No? No one? Never worked at a place where you knew what this company did overall was wrong? Yeah, pretty much all of them. I mean, for the most part, when you think about what we do, just our regular jobs, most of what we're doing in some way is not really a benefit to society at all. It's a means to money. That's it. And we sell ourselves. We literally sell ourselves. We trade our worth so that we can acquire stuff. We can have material things. And notice that God wasn't even just saying, you're doing this for food. I guess I can kind of understand. You're starving. He's like, no. You do this for food, for clothes, for luxuries, for wine, so you have the opportunity to drink and do all these other things. We literally do that every single day, all of our lives. That's what we do. The only difference is for most of us, I hope most of us, we're just not trading sex for it. But we're trading something far greater. Like I said, our integrity, our worth, our morals, our values.